Hi everybody, I'm Adam Abbott. Welcome to my channel. This one is about living as a mystical being, which simply means increasing our spirituality and our spiritual awareness. So whatever level that you are at or don't even know what level you're at, that's good. I don't know either. And people that go out of their way to specify what level someone is at spiritually, it's like taking this big, giant, infinite universe and putting it in a little box and saying, this is who you are. No, this is who you are. And so run away from that bullshit if you ever hear it. You know already it's not true. And it usually leads to some kind of control mechanism and some kind of a cultish type behavior. They don't know what the fuck's going on in you. And especially if you don't even know. It takes a really enlightened higher upper to know that. And they also are imbued with certain responsibilities and certain behaviors that don't really allow them to place you in a static category or a little box. They generally will operate more with love than they will any kind of judgment. So that's how you be careful about them. But today's topic is not about that. Today's topic isn't even that spiritual at all, except for it's coming from somebody that's been working on increasing spirituality my whole life. No, this topic is about Valium versus Xanax for people that have anxiety. The main reason people take Xanax or take Valium is to take the edge off anxiety, to help with anxiety disorder, to stop having panic attacks or getting scared of, let's say, flying on an airplane or anything that they do during the day that may scare them. So I'm just speaking from experience of what I've been through with those two medications. And I'm not speaking to you as a medical professional. And I am not giving medical advice. That's my disclaimer now, so you know that I'm just a person that has used it. And the reason I'm sharing this information is because I'm 58 years old now. Many of you are younger. If you're in your 20s and 30s and your 40s and you're just starting to need anti-anxiety medication, you should hear from somebody who's had access to it for a long time and how the nuances of each one works for me and why I like one better than the other. So I used to be really afraid of flying, and at that time I had to fly all over the world, and I was also into doing everything natural and holistic. So neither of those options were really available to me personally. I could have gotten it from any doctor, but I didn't want them. So I looked for what would calm me down before going on flight. Because flight scared the hell out of me. It wasn't really the flying, it was the idea of crashing and burning, plummeting into a mountainside or into the sea and drowning inside the tube of an airplane, yada, yada, all that stuff. So I took valerian root, which is a natural herbal tincture, and I would carry it with me. And they're in little bottles, have a little liquid, and you should, since it's small and it's labeled, you should be able to get it through Homeland Security. It's not that large. They're 1 or 2 ounce bottles, and you put it under your tongue, or just put it on your tongue. 10 drops, whatever it takes. It kind of knocks out. And this is the natural substance, valerian root, that Valium has its origins from. So my natural progression, once I started taking some Western medicines because they really worked well, they had isolated the active ingredients and made it easier to take, and it was affordable with the health insurance, which will pay for pharmaceuticals but not for herbal tinctures anymore. used to in the 80s and 90s, my health insurance company, Empire Blue Cross of New York, would pay for my herbal medicines and my tinctures and my vitamin C IVs and all the different things I was doing to stay alive without toxifying myself with Western pharmaceutical medications whenever possible. Most of the time possible. Yes, it takes longer to heal with those processes, but you're actually healing the cause when you deal with things holistically. You're not just treating symptoms with a harsh med that after it's done, your body comes back and starts having the symptom again, or worse, you get side effects and other symptoms because you never treated the cause of your illness, only the symptoms. So holistic medicine goes beyond symptomatic healing, and you really have to try to stay away from symptomatic type of treatments and drugs from that make you more toxic and actually will make you more sick. There are some symptomatic treatments in homeopathy and herbal medicine, Chinese medicine, that naturopathy, that can help you with your symptoms, that not as well as Western medicine, which will knock out symptoms right and left all the time. But again, they don't address the root problem. And so you're likely to get something worse or have the system break down completely or have the problem come back again and again. So that's why I took Valerian root instead of Valium. Well, my fear of flying went away as well through doing metaphysical work and having a lot of dreams and out-of-body experiences in airplanes that were crashing and going through crashing over and over again in my dreams, where in every single scenario I would be lifted out of the bray, so to speak. It felt like I would just fly out of the plane and be alive. And so this happened over and over again, and I realized what I was experiencing was probably what would happen to your spirit consciousness if your body was involved in one of those accidents. And sometimes there are actual stories of survival, but just going through this thing over and over again in the dreams alleviated my fear of flying, and other people, it might make it worse. It all depends what level you're experiencing these things on and how much lucidity you have in your dreams and the ability to go on past the actual tragedy. And once you see that your life goes on with or without the body, it's not the fear, it's really a fear of death that you're having with fear of flying. Plain and simple, it's a fear of death. So getting over the fear of flying helped me get over the fear of death for the most part, except there are still certain death causes that I have anxiety about. That one's not one of them anymore. So later on, after the herbal medicines and everything did its work, I got to the point where I could choose between, from Western medicine, a Xanax or a Valium for alleviating anxiety that was caused by other things. Sometimes there's alternative treatments with marijuana. Well, that causes me anxiety and paranoia. So if I have too much of that, then I have to do something right away to alleviate the anxiety that is caused to me by that substance. And that can be a quick shot of alcohol, or it can be a Valium that'll kick in within half an hour, or Xanax. Reason I prefer Valium over Xanax, everybody. And this is because, first of all, it comes originally from the valerian root in its chemistry. Now, of course, they've isolated and probably synthesized it, so it's probably not coming from the herb anymore. It's probably synthesized, but it's still one of the oldest tranquilizers on the market, and it does a good job. It doesn't seem to have side effects when wearing off. Now, I know if you're taking a lot of it, you're not supposed to stop it. So that's something I've heard of. So be careful. Don't make any changes with your medications and stuff like that without the supervision of a medical doctor. But I never have needed that much. In fact, whatever my script was, I never took the whole pill. I would take a half, or even less than a half, depending on the milligrams of the pill to kick in. Very rarely did I ever take a whole pill of Valium. Xanax are very tiny a lot of times, and yeah, I would take half of those too. The problem with Xanax, when they wear off, I felt shaky, a little like withdrawal symptoms. And then I see other people using it, and they are addicted. I mean, hardcore addicted. Now, Valium apparently was a very addictive substance too, but it's such an old medicine that these Valium addicts were from maybe the 1960s, 70s, even the 40s, 50s. I mean, Nancy Reagan, just saying no to drugs and addiction. She was a pill popper, apparently, and probably had some kind of addiction to Valium. I don't know. But in any case, her husband completely threw out the mental health care system, and now it's been done worse and worse and worse through the decades since then, to where there's no place for people to get mental health, and there's no long-term housing for them, and they just end up living on our streets for as much as a person can live on the streets, or being locked up in jail constantly or in prison. So that's one situation that I'd like to see healing over. But most of us that use or need a little bit of anti-anxiety medication are not really in the category of seriously unable to manage ourselves mental illness. And I urge you to stay out of that category. There's no help for you. Yeah, they might advertise places on TV, the addiction places. Well, yeah, if you have tens of thousands of dollars, you can go to those places. If you have a good health insurance that will cover the whole thing, most of them don't. There's going to be a co-payment that you got to come out of pocket, at least $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 for a 30 to 60 day treatment program for addiction. And as far as long-term mental illness, I don't know if there's a policy that covers that and how long it covers it for. So please try to stay on the side of functionality with any mental problem that you get. That means don't wallow in it. Decide, I am going to stay in charge of myself. I am not going to let others take over my right to make decisions for myself. I mean, when you start slipping down that insanity highway, you've got to understand, as you're letting yourself do this, that you're going to lose control over your very life, what you can feed yourself, where you can go, your freedom. You have to realize that you're giving up all of that because you're allowing mental illness to take over. So just be careful and try to stay out of that seriousness. If you can get analysis, join support groups, find a spiritual center, work on it. The biggest help for me is meditation. Calm the mind, go within, connect. Learn how to control the thoughts that run and play through your head. They should not be running you. You should be a third party looking at them like it's a movie. If you're living in your disturbed thoughts, the monkey mind is controlling you, you are insane. So you gotta stop that and start meditate right away. Make the decision that you're going to be in control of your life. I am in control of my brain. I am in control of what I pay attention to. I may not be in control of all the random thoughts that keep going 24 hours a day, but I'm in control of a little volume knob that turns it down. I'm in control of a channel knob that tunes it out. I give importance to what's going to help me, what I need to do. I give importance to my daily tasks that I have to do to survive. I do not give importance to the thoughts that cause anxiety. And I have created all kinds of visualizations for how to deal with those thoughts. Water flowing off a duck's back. Picture that as those fears and those anxieties. There are drops of water hitting the back of the duck that roll right off. Silly duck shakes its tail and they fly off. So that's the thing about Xanax I don't like is its addictive qualities are a lot higher to me than Valium. Valium is so much more natural. I can dissolve it under my tongue better or just swallow it. It kicks in quickly. The difference between the two feeling is that the Valium will have an edge that can allow sleepiness. The Xanax is kind of a little bit more of an awake pill that will make you maybe even seem a little hyper. So if you have to be on and you have to be in front of people, and just keep in mind the Valium is going to relax you a little bit. It's kind of going to be like a downer. The Xanax is going to maybe relax and take away the anxiety, but it might be a bit of an upper that might cause you to be a little chatty, a little over chatty. And then there will be the withdrawal symptom, a little bit of shakiness that I had with the Xanax as opposed to the Valium. So that's it for today. That's my opinion on it. Do what you want with it. I think it's easier to go off of Valium and just use it as needed. As if it's not being used constantly, you definitely can just go without it for a long period of time. And then when you need it because of some anxiety or something that happens, it's there, you take it, and that you don't have to keep taking it all the time. Xanax is a little different than that. They have different recommendations. Last thing I want to do is become a Xanax queen, and I'm not going to. I've had access to it. I don't like it. Back to old-fashioned Valium. Sometimes those things that are closer to being derived from nature are better. I love you, everybody. Take care. Have a wonderful, awesome day. I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button and the bell for notifications. Thank you. Bye.